ボブ・ハンナ。1956年カリフォルニアに生まれ、17歳の時からバイクに乗り始めた。現在アメリカを代表するモトクロスライダーとして、その技とスピードはアメリカ史上最強と言われている。1976年に AMA モトクロス 125cc クラスのチャンピオンになって以来、毎シーズン必ず 2,3 回のチャンピオンシップを獲得。1978年には23連勝というアメリカ史上最高の大記録を樹立。1979年にも AMA250cc クラスとスーパークロスの両タイトルをはじめ、ほとんどのタイトルを独占。ハリケーンハンナの異名を世界に轟かせている。
Hi, I'm Bob Hanna. I've been a factory motocross racer for about 10 years. I've been play riding for about 21 years. I'm here today to show you some basic riding techniques. But before that, I'm going to go through about a week's training session with you. What I do. And I'd basically like to get up in the morning and run 5 or 6 miles. Come back, take a shower, clean up, and have some pancakes and eggs for breakfast, a little hot tea and honey, maybe some milk. Go out and I'd go bicycle riding, either 10-speed riding or mountain bike riding, which is a 10-speed with some fat tires on it. We ride through the mountain trails for an hour or two. Go back and go motorcycle riding 2 or 3 hours. I do that about 5 days a week. I ride motorcycles. 3 or 4 days a week I may lift weights and do something like that for training.
モトクロスの基本、それはライディングフォームです。コースの状況によって巧みに使い分けることにより、マシンの能力、そしてライダーのテクニックを引き出すための重要なポイントなのです。
Now we're going to look a little bit on seating position on the motorcycle for a beginner rider. If the motorcycle was on the stand and it was too high for you to get on, there's no necessary for you to try to climb on. Just put one foot on the foot peg and swing your leg over the other side. Basically, you don't need to sit up here too far or sit back here. Just sit straight over the foot pegs, comfortable position. Keep your feet on the pegs. Don't let them hang off the bottom of the peg like this, in tight, and up on the peg, up on the balls of your feet. If you can, keep the knees tight to the tank. Tighter the better. Not loose like this, riding like this. Tight to the tank. Handlebars, want them in a comfortable position where you just bring your hands down, arms bent like this. Not like this, not like this, just like this. Levers, you don't want them too high, too low. Just straight out from your hands like this, so easy accessible for your control levers.
モトクロスのスタートには2つの方法があります。一つはスターティングマシンによるスタート。これは競馬のスタートと同じです。バーが倒れると同時にスタートします。 そしてもう一つはフラッグマンによるスタートで、スタートの時にはクラッチ側の手を頭の上に乗せておき、合図があって初めてクラッチを入れスタートします。
We're going to talk a little bit about starts. There's basically two kinds of starts. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you're an expert. One when you have good traction, one when you don't have any traction. It's very slippery taking off. And the first one, when you have good traction, I usually start 1 foot up, sit far forward, hang onto the tank with your knee, and lean over the front of the bike. And you watch the gate or whatever kind of starting gate you have. And then the second one is when you don't have any traction, I usually sit back a little bit farther, both feet on the ground, and then look at the gate like this. The only difference in a beginner and an expert taking off is the amount of throttle and how he uses the clutch. I'll demonstrate now.
スタートによってレースは大きく左右されます。ギアのセットはほとんどのライダーが2足です。1足ではホイールスピンを起こす可能性が大きくなります。2足のスタートでは第1コーナーまでにシフトアップが1回で済むためタイムロスにならないのです。シフトアップの時はスロットルは全開のまま、この時もたつくとオーバーレグになりやすいので要注意。いかに素早い加速をするかはスタートからの加速が基本。そして第1コーナーまでに良いポジションを得られればレースは有利に展開します。
しかしまだまだトップ争い混戦。第1コーナーを回りましてウォッシュボード、おっとここで一気に差が出てまいります。15番のロバート・ハンナ、ボブ・ハンナであります。ボブ・ハンナがウォッシュボードで一気にコークピットの間隔を空けてまいります。第2ロータリーを立ち上がりまして後続に大きな差をつけました。2位争いは混戦であります。素晴らしいスタート、ハリケーン素晴らしいスタートを切りました。ゼッケン05番のボブ・ハンナ、まずはスパッと一歩前に出てまいりました。
コーナリングと一口に言ってもコースにはいろいろな種類のコーナーがあります。平坦なところ S 字、マシンのスピードを生かしながらバンクの壁を駆け抜けるアクロバットのような魅力を持つバンクコーナー。その他角度やコーナーの R の違いをプラスすればその数はまさに無限にあります。ライダーの判断力が大きくものを言いますからコーナリングの基本をしっかり身につけることが大切です。
A corner for beginner or experts, a corner is a corner. Same procedure every corner. If it's a small 180 or a big sweeper, you always stand up coming into it. You're always looking ahead. You look right ahead. Right where you want to start your turn is where you focus. You're riding in there. The object is to leave it on as long as you can. If you're real good on the brakes, you can leave it on as long as possible. Use the brakes, slide up, sit down, start your turn, and immediately as you're coming out of the turn, stand back up, get your butt back off the seat, and go to the next one. They're all the same. The only thing you're doing different is looking at different places to turn. You focus at the pivot point, whether it's the inside, the outside, a berm, or a flat corner, or a tin can that you're going to turn around, or a stake practicing, you always look at the pivot point. Well, entering the big corner after the first corner after the tabletop, you'd be coming in there, you'd be standing up, knees tight, driving in on the throttle. When you back off the throttle, you're on the brakes, you're still standing up. As soon as the bike slows up and you want to turn, you move up, sit down, put the weights on the front wheel, puts all your weight, transfer your weight up to the front wheel, start the corner and start rolling the throttle on. And what here, it was slippery riding here. And the back end comes out. So what happens, the front end turns like this, and you just keep rolling it on, and you just slide right around the corner, and finally it'll straighten back up. You stand back up. On a berm corner, rather than the corner being flat, you have to roll the gas on a flat corner, roll it on smooth. A berm corner, you've got a little monorail to ride around there. You come in, you hit the berm, and once you're in the berm, you can turn it wide open. You monorail around the berm, and as soon as you lift out of the berm, then you immediately stand back up again, feet on the pegs, and knees tight, go to the next obstacle.
ジャンプ。モトクロスで最も魅力的なアクション。あの華麗なジャンプシーンに憧れてモトクロスを始める人も多いことでしょう。マシンと共に飛ぶ快感をぜひ自分のものにしたいものです。スキージャンプとよく似たハンナジャンプ。踏切から着地までの一連の動作の中にマシンの動きを計算し尽くした体重移動、脱重、トラクションのかけ方のコンビネーションが最もスムーズで完成された高度なジャンプなのです。
Basically, on a big jump or a small jump, I'd come in standing up on the middle of the bike, knees tight to the bike. Come in and just really be ready on the throttle, so you can back off the throttle, lets the nose down, turn on the throttle, brings the nose up. And as you're going through the air, you can add throttle or back off, so you can land either a little like this or a little like this. And it's not necessary to get a lot of air off the jumps. Most of the time, it's better to jump and get back on the ground and get the power back on the ground. Long whoop-de-doos for a beginner is you want to get a little bit more back to the back of the bike. You want your knees tight, and you want to keep the front end light on the bike and try to get the front end over a few of them. Instead of riding over every one, you want to try to wheelie over every other one, and then try to wheelie over two, and then try to wheelie over three. And the more you can wheelie over, the faster you'll go through them. Washboard, when you're in a washboard, you don't want to get the bike too steep and loop it over. There's two ways to do it. You don't turn the throttle on enough, you don't get it that high in the first place, and if you do get it that high, there's only one thing to do, is tap the rear brake and shut off. If you don't do it, you're going to be on your back.
モトクロス、それは未舗装の荒れた大地、ギャップありジャンプありのコースをたった一人で全力走破する人間の限界を超えるアクションとスピードのスポーツです。キャタピラのような伸びタイヤが大地を削り、自然の衝撃が体にストレートに伝わってくる。精神力と体力の極限で争うモトクロス。自然のままの大地でスピードを競う以上、オールラウンドの体力が要求されます。そして強靭な精神力がプラスされ、そこで初めてパーフェクトなテクニックが発揮できるのです。 マシンとライダーが一体にならなければ最大限のパワーは発揮できません。一瞬のためらいでもライディングは微妙に変わってしまいます。モトクロス、これほどヒューマンなスポーツが他にあるでしょうか。
A beginner that wants to get into motocross just has to practice every day and watch the things I have on this video, and practice the corners, practice the berms, and practice the jumps, and continue to think about using the front brake and the rear brake well, keeping the knees tight, keeping the feet up, and not just forget all this stuff you're thinking about, but think about it. Every corner, every jump, every whoop-de-doo, think about, did you do it right? And the next time, if you didn't do it right the next time.